Okay. This time is the last time I'm going to try this. I just can't believe the struggles I'm having today, you guys. Okay, so I'm live again. I hope I'm not sideways. I tried stopping the video, restarting it, and let's just see what happens here. So somebody jump on, please, and tell me if I'm upside down or sideways or whatever, because I don't know what's going on here now. So we will see. And oh gosh. Am I the right way, Brina? I'm hoping so. I was on my oh, thank you, Brina. Okay, I think we finally have it, guys. Oh my gosh. I originally accidentally went live on my personal Facebook page. That's not what I meant to do. I meant to go live on this page. So somehow I went live on the wrong page. And Roseanne, is the share button down here now? Oh, thank goodness. I should have known. And then there was like people coming on, like friends of my brother that were coming onto my live. And I was like, how would Chris know I'm here? It was because I was on my personal page. Oh my heavens. Okay. So now that that's done, we can actually get down to business here. Now I am right side up. Thank you, Linda. Oh my gosh, what a tragedy. I hate that when that happens. I've just been so frazzled. My friends were here all week. My husband was gone all week. My mom fell and broke her pelvis last week. I just got back from Billings to put her she's in a transitional care facility from the hospital before she can go home. Oh, I'm just frazzled. I wasn't really super prepared. I do have some projects to show you, so don't get me wrong. We are going to do some stamping. But it's just been a few days for me. So, and then I go live on my personal page this morning. Ugh, I think I was live for like 11 minutes. And I kept seeing these people pop up that should not really be watching me stamping because they're not stampers. Some of them were my friends that are guys. And I was like, why is Chris and Chip on here? That's just so strange. Okay, anyway, so please like and share the video. I would really appreciate that. Okay. I did mention on my other page that I had a winner for my cards from the last Facebook Live I did. Can you find them again? Congratulations to Ellen Martin. If you're watching me on this page, Ellen, please contact me via Facebook Messenger or an email, barb@barbstamps.com, and I can get your address and get these cards out to you. So we'll get that taken care of. We were talking about I'm offering product shares, meaning a little bit of everything from the Stampin' Up! Catalog. I guess I could quickly go through it again. I hate to do that because some of you guys came back, and thank you so much for coming back. I appreciate that so much. Good morning, Doreen. And then I do have an in color club that I do run every year with the brand new in colors. And that way you can get all your in colors in about 5 months. So for those of you just joining me, I'm late because I was live on my personal page, not this business page, for like 11 minutes. I was blabbing to my regular Facebook friends. I'm sure they loved hearing all of my gibberish. Anyway, so we've got Ellen the cards, excuse me, Ellen, I just butchered your name there for a second. I talked about catalogs. If you're a long distance customer of mine, your catalog should be arriving in your mailbox any day now. And that means if you've ordered with me $50 in the last 6 months, I sent you a catalog. Well, Stampin' Up! Sent it on my behalf. Otherwise, if you are a local customer to me, I have hello, Nicola, how are you? I have my local catalogs ready to go. So you can just send me a message, call me, text me, whatever you want to do. And I can put your catalog outside because with my mom breaking her pelvis, I'll be traveling back and forth to Billings, Montana frequently until she is really on the mend. So I don't know how my life is going to be for these next couple months. So let me know if you're coming over. I'll put your catalog outside if I'm not here, or one of my family members can. I can still work remotely from her house. I can't really stamp because I don't have any stamping supplies at her house, but I can do I can't even shoot videos at her house, so she doesn't have, anyway. Life's going to be a little crazy for me for a few months going forward. Okay, so now that you know that, hopefully it won't affect my Facebook Live schedule. I haven't figured that out yet. I don't know, so we'll have to keep that in mind. Okay, so I'm going to actually just flip the camera right now, show you a few things, and then I will get to the stamping of the projects that I did come up with. Hopefully you enjoy them. Sometimes you have to stamp on the fly. You know, I got home late yesterday afternoon, had a bunch of family stuff to take care of here, and then I got up at 5 o'clock this morning to try to figure out what kind of stuff we were going to show you. So hopefully it's good stuff and you enjoy it. So we're going to flip it. I hope this thing works. Hopefully it stays going the right direction. I mean, it looks the right direction from my angle, so hopefully you guys are still seeing the proper direction. So I am offering product shares, and a product share is just where I take a bunch of stuff in the catalog, I repackage it for you to give you a small sampling of everything in the catalog. Thank you, Nikolai. I appreciate that so much. So one of the things I offer is paper shares. Now, these are not all the papers you would receive. These are only the papers that I could order as a demonstrator in May. So they don't let us order everything out of the catalog early. They give us a select list of items that we can order. And so we order those items. We can order everything June 1st. So you will get all the papers that are in the catalog in these shares. You will get all the ribbons in my shares. You will get all the accessories in the shares. I just can't order them till June, so I don't have them to show you. And we're not allowed to show you inside the catalog until June 1st. So I can show you the gorgeous cover. Here it is. But I can't show you anything inside. So the Share What You Love paper, we've been working with that all month. So that is one of the papers in the collection. The Tranquil Textures paper is another designer series paper that's in the collection. Gorgeous patterns. Then we have the Nature's Poem. More gorgeous patterns. And I happen to be missing one because I used it all. I was able to get some 6x6s out of that. These last two are actual 6x6 stacks that come from Stampin' Up! As a 6x6. So we've got the Graceful Glass Vellum, which is really pretty. You can add any color, any way you want to add it with Stampin' Blends, Stampin' Right markers, sponge daubers, sponges, sponge brayers, whatever you want to do. And then we have the gorgeous Garden Impressions, which is so much fun. And I'm going to be offering some online classes coming up. So anyone can purchase those. They're going to be fairly inexpensive and you're going to get a ton of items in there. I think I'm going to have like 9 cards with a product suite. Like the first one is going to be this one, I believe, the Artistic Impressions stamp set along with this paper. And then I'll have, so that'll be coming up in June, so you guys can get that. We're going to have ribbon shares. This is how our ribbon share would come packaged to you. This happens to be our in color 1/8 inch ribbons. And this is one of the shares I am offering with ribbon. So they come wrapped up on a card with a label on them. Here are a few others that I was able to pre-order. We've got this black cording, which is pretty shiny. It's actually really cool. Of course, the Rich Raspberry Velvet that you're familiar with. We've been talking about all that month with the Share What You Love bundle. The white polka dot, which is super fun. And you can dye this, guys. You know how I love to dye ribbon, and this dyes really nicely. I have done this already. I already gave that card away, so I can't show you, but you can. So those are ribbon shares. Accessory shares, I have a few accessories here. Here's the Artisan Pearls that you've already seen. We've got these super, super cute, hello Leanne, how are you? Little leaf accents in the copper and silver, so those will be part of a share. And then we have these tinted faceted buttons that will also be part of one of my shares. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Oh, Louise, hello. Thank you for asking. He is so much better. He ended up having, they didn't do any x-rays because they weren't really sure. And the guy said it wouldn't matter if he had cracked ribs or a cracked sternum or dislocated cartilage and ligaments, whatever. He said taking x-ray would not do anything about the treatment. The treatment is basically just rest and some Advil. So he is feeling a lot better. So thank you so much for asking. Okay, guys. So that was my product shares. My In Color Club is every month you get one of the In Colors. And you get all the products in that color. So you get some cardstock, some designer series paper, 6x6s, some of the ribbon, ink pad, the refill for the ink pad, the marker, and then there's some little clips that also go with this, but I don't have those because I wasn't able to order those yet. So hello, Verna and Julie. How are you guys? So I will, all this information for my product shares and my In Color Club, you can find it on my blog at barbstamps.com, and you can sign up there if you're interested. Okay, so here's my catalog. I wish I could show you inside, but I can't. But hopefully those of you that are my customers, you'll be receiving yours hopefully this week. I know they're out there because I always send one to myself, and I did get mine. So they should be on the way. All right. One thing I wanted to mention is this bundle, the Truly Tailored Stamp Set and the Tailored Tag Punch, are in the Occasions catalog right now. They are wonderful for guy cards. And if you guys would hold on one second, I'm going to run and grab some because they're really cool. Of course, if I can find them. Okay, well, here is a ginormous bucket of cards, and in this I do have some. So, unfortunately this DSP is sold out, but if you had any sort of manly kind of DSP at your own home, you could do basically the same thing. It's just, you know, using some guy paper, the stamps with the coordinating tag punch. That's what really makes this whole bundle, is the stamps and the tag punch. So here's a card that I did a couple weeks ago on a video, and that's a really simple card. I do have a video for that. So this is retiring. That's why I pulled it out. It's retiring at the end of this month. So that's May 31st, next Friday. The punch is carrying over, so you will still be able to get the punch, but if you're into guy cards, sometimes guy cards are kind of hard for us to make. I know they are for me. So this is a great set to help with those guy cards, and it's retiring. Okay, now let's stamp. Good Lord. I feel like I've been rambling for hours when I started out on my wrong page. That's why I was late this morning. I was on my personal page talking about all this stuff, so... yeah, my brother's friend, another friend, they all got to find out all about Barb and her Stampin' Up! Business, which I'm sure they were just thrilled about. Okay, so we are going to start out by having some fun with the Diagonal Stripe stamp set, which is retiring at the end of this month. And hello, Kathy, welcome back. I was on the wrong page. And the Garden in Bloom stamp set. These are both retiring, and I have used this before. I think it was at the end of April or something like that. I made a bunch of cards with this because I just love this stamp set. And the Diagonal Stripe is, I love striped designer series paper, and we didn't really have any this past year, but we did have this Diagonal Stripe stamp, so that was really helpful to create those Diagonal Stripe backgrounds that I personally really enjoy. So we are going to start out. Let me grab my cardstock pieces here. Cardstock pieces. We've got a card base. It is the Thick Whisper White. I do like to use Thick Whisper White for card bases because, and actually that one has some stamping on the other side. I forgot to get a new one. Because it's really nice and thick and it does hold up. So if you have a card standing on your desk or something, it's going to stay there. So I like to use the thick. So we're going to start out with a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of Blueberry Bushel. This is one of our new in colors. This is one of the colors you would get in your kit each month if you do your color club with me. And we've got the Blueberry Bushel ink pad. Now I do have an ink pad, a video on ink pads, the new ones, on my YouTube channel. You can go to youtube.com and type in Barb Stamps ink pad, and I think it'll come up for you to show you how easy they are to open, how I lubricate the edges with wax paper, how I put the stickers on, what I use all the little sticker pieces for, that kind of stuff. So that might be helpful if you're a little concerned about how you're going to use these new pads, but they're amazing and you're going to love them. So I've got my Diagonal Stripe. Now I just leave my large background stamps in my plastic case. I don't really ever take them out because I don't really think there's a need to, because they're so big. I'm usually using them for a background piece. And so to do that, I just easily ink up the stamp, just like that. I take my 1/4 sheet of cardstock, lay it on there, and then I have a scrap paper that I place over the top so that I can press all the ink onto my cardstock without hopefully getting any ink on myself, except of course for this short fingernail that I have here, which I will clean off momentarily so I don't get it on everything. And then I just dump that off, and look at that. Isn't that cool? And then here's what you have. And then I just take a wipe or our little chamois and wipe that off, and then it's good as new, and I just leave it in the case and it's ready to go for the next time I want to use it. So here we have this, and I think, what are we going to do with this? We'll do it like this maybe. Okay, so then I'm going to take my 2 1/4 inch circle punch. Is the new catalog online yet? No, Verna, it won't be online until June 1st. And I'm going to crop out the corner of this thing. Whoops, there we go. About like so. Get that ink off my finger. And I'm going to close up my ink pad because I don't need it anymore. Because if I don't, I'm actually going to stick my finger in it and then I'm going to make a mess on something. Okay. And then I've got some scraps of lovely lipstick. This is another one of the new in colors. This is Call Me Clover, and of course some Whisper White. So we are going to stamp some flowers. I've got the large detailed flower here. Link that up, and I'm going to stamp a couple of these on this piece of lovely lipstick. like so. Got some Call Me Clover. This is another in color. You'll see how easy my pads slide. These are ones that I've already lubricated. Let me grab one here that I have not lubricated yet. And then I can show you the difference. Where is one? I've got them all right here next to my, here's one. This is Granny Apple Green. So this one has not been opened really at all. I think one time I was using it to do some watercoloring, and you can see it does not really slide that great. So if you just take some wax paper and rub it on the two sides here and inside this track, you will be amazed at how easily these things will slide. See, it's just like butter, as they say. All right. Oh, Kathy tried to share and the screen froze up. Ah, you know what, Kathy? I mean, maybe just try again when you get a minute. I don't know if Facebook's having some issues this morning. I mean, I know obviously I was having some issues this morning, but Facebook could be also. Okay. Oops, I need my lovely lipstick. Well, I won't use it right now. I got my pineapple punch because I'm going to do a couple of little flower middles on my scrap of white. Like that. Close that up so I don't make a mess. Again, and I can stack all these pads with this new design, and check that out. They just stack so nicely. They don't fall apart. They're all the same size, so that's amazing. Oh, good. Roseanne said she shared and it worked, so maybe there was just a little glitch or something right then, Kathy. Who knows? Like I said, Facebook can sometimes be a real bugger. Okay, so I've got my paper snips here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to fussy cut these flowers, fussy cut the leaves and the little flower middles, but I'm only going to do one because I've already got one done that I did really early this morning. So we'll just kind of quickly, whoops, get around this. And I don't know how you guys do your cutting, but when I cut, I really only open and close the scissors on my scissor hand. So what I'm doing is I'm moving the paper with my left hand. So the scissor is basically just opening and closing, and my left hand is doing all the work to guide the edges of what I want to cut to the scissors. So I find that really helpful as far as cutting goes. And this isn't perfect because I'm kind of trying to hurry because I don't want you guys to have to watch me fussy cut. Unless maybe you enjoy watching people fussy cut. I don't know. Again, just opening and closing the scissor, using that left hand to kind of guide the paper to the scissor so that it can cut it. And I've been fussy cutting stuff, I mean, we all probably have for many, many years. And I've just found that this is the best way for me. Works pretty good. All right, we're just about done with this. Didn't take too long. And so there, so we've got a flower, and I've got the other one in a little kit over here. And then the leaves, what I'm going to do with the leaves is a little bit different. I'm going to come up the middle here on them. Get in there like so. And cut around it. Just kind of twisting and turning the paper here. But I'm going to go way up around the top of these leaves. I guess what I'm calling the top of the leaves. So they're not completely cut out individually. They're kind of cut out as a group with this little kind of tip here. Okay, so we've got the flower, we've got the leaves, the little flower middle. And now these are kind of oval shaped, and I'm going to kind of trim them to make them just a little bit more circular than oval because I feel like they look a little bit better in the middle of the flower as a circle than an oval. Okay, so we don't need any of those scraps. We're going to scoot those out of the way. Down here into my trash can. Ah, get off there. And then I'm just going to kind of shake in here the ones that I already cut. So there we go. So I actually am only going to use 2 of the flowers. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of lightly place my blueberry bushel piece that I've cropped the hole out of. Just kind of lay it on there where I would normally glue it down, but not glue it down just yet, because I'm actually going to use dimensionals to pop it up. And so I want to stamp my greeting in there before I do that, just so that I can get the stamp in there without the dimensionals. Okay, so I've got that lined up where I'm going to actually glue it. And then I'm just going to come in. Now this comes out of the stamp set called, where is it? Love What You Do. And this is part of the Share What You Love bundle that you guys as customers can buy this month. And when you do, I have some free gifts for you. So that comes out of that. Touch that one more time, and I'm just going to kind of eyeball where I want this in this circle. about like so. And then I can start adding my flowers. So I'm going to kind of just add my flowers around the circle, a couple of them. And then you can see by having those little points of the leaves not cut, I'm going to be able to easily glue those into place. So rather than fussing around with 2 of them, I can just fuss around with 1 piece and get them on there no problem. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually add some glue behind the flower, and then we'll add the leaves about like so. And we're going to do the same thing on this, add a little glue back there on the back of the flower. Take the leaf again, I think like that. And that way, like I said, I don't have to mess around with more than 1 leaf, because sometimes, you know, if you're messing around with too many small things, they can be problematic. And I can see where I barely need to cut the middle of that out. All right, so we can go ahead and add the dimensionals to the back of this now. So we'll just add a few dimensionals back here. I kind of go around the circle with a few of them just to make sure that it's going to be stuck there so that we don't have any gaps. So I kind of pressed my fingernail into each one of those, my very short nail, and peel off all the backings. There we go. And then we'll just place this right back onto the card. And so it's a kind of an interesting card, having this open hole there. I think that's kind of fun. And so I think we're going to go ahead and add some more dimensionals to the backs. So we'll just pop the flowers up on dimensionals also. Okay. How about like that? Peel the backing off of that one. And maybe like so. And actually, maybe I should throw another leaf. What do you guys think? Do we need another leaf in there? I think I do. I'm going to go ahead and just add a tiny bit of glue right here. I'm going to kind of slide that into this set of leaves here, this flower, and if I press on it, then it'll pick it up with the glue on the back. So it'll be dimensional also. And then I'm just going to take a little bit of glue here, and we'll just add these little flower middles. Oops, that one's going to be a garbage one now since it's got glue on the front. No bueno, as my kids would say. They're in Spanish right now, so we get a lot of little Spanish phrases in our home. Okay. So that is it. So we've used 4 of our brand new in colors. You guys can purchase those right now if you want. They are part of the customer ordering for the month of May. You can order the full set of in color ink pads, plus you can order the Share What You Love bundle. So either way you want to do it, and there we have it. So again, sharing the video put you in the drawing to win all the cards that I'm going to make. I think there should be a share button down there now that we're on the right page, because I went live on my personal page earlier. So click the share button, share the video, let me know that you've done it. Please go ahead and leave comments, ask questions. If I can't answer it right now, if I don't see it while I'm live, I will certainly go back and check through the comments after I'm done and then answer anything that you may have. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. Thank you, Doreen. She said this is a great layout. Yeah, and you can do that with anything. I mean, any kind of fancy punch you had, you can just punch out the corner. And it just gives a little bit of dimension, a little bit of interest, just some fun to the card. So it's not, you know, just a standard opening card, a little bit different. Okay, we're going to move on. I'm going to clean up this mess. And then we'll bring in my next set of projects. Hopefully you guys like them. Like I said, I got home fairly late yesterday afternoon and had to do some family things here. And then I got up early this morning to kind of prepare myself for this. And then, of course, I went live on the wrong page. And, yeah, it's just been a disaster ever since. But I think my card worked out pretty good. So I guess it's not that much of a disaster, right? Okay. Moving on. I'm going to pull out my Share What You Love Designer Series paper, and I've used this paper pack. You get like 24 sheets in here, and I only have maybe like 10 full sheets left. I have some scraps. These are kind of my larger scraps, and then on the back side here, I've got a lot of smaller scraps. So what I decided to do was just pull out some smaller scraps and think, what can I do with them? Because we all end up with scraps. We're always wondering what to do with them. So we're going to make 3 cards super quickly using scraps of this paper. All right, so we will start out with this one here. So we're going to have a mint macaron card base. I did cut it the hot dog way, which is what I was told by a teacher many years ago. This is the hot dog way to cut paper. This would be the hamburger way. So we're cutting it the hot dog way. Here's my scrap that I pulled out. This scrap was this width. This is like 2 inches wide. It was a little bit longer, so I just cut it to be 5.5 so it would fit right on here. Then I cut myself a strip of black from a scrap, so we just have a little bumper to kind of, you know, separate the paper from the cardstock base. We're going to use one of these amazing pearlized doilies that come in the Share What You Love bundle. And then I went ahead and used my circle framelits, layering circles framelits, and I cut out, I think these are both size number 6. Yep. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, when I got all my layering framelits, I started in the middle, and that was, in my mind, that was number 1. That was the smallest, and I used a Sharpie, and I just numbered every single one of them. So from the smallest outward, I've used number 6 on the plain circle, and I also believe I used number 6 on the scallop circle. Where is number 6? Here we go. I did the same thing. Smallest scallop circle is 1 up to the largest one. So yeah, I used number 6 on both. So in case you're at home wondering what size circles those are, I'm not going to measure them because I don't know. Well, I guess I could. Let's just see what we got here. This circle is about 2 7/16. 2 7/16, so like 2.5, and this is just slightly larger. Okay, so we've got those. We've got the doily that we're going to take out. This is my last doily. This is a package of, I think, 24 doilies. I've got this one left and a half that I was messing around with. So these are lots of fun, and I've used a lot of them. We're also going to use the embellishment kit that comes in the bundle. And so I've already done this part so that it can go a little quickly. I pulled one of the small silver clips out of these little goodies here. They don't actually come in this little container. I had this, so just so it's a disclaimer, you aren't going to get this container if you order this kit. And then I tied a bow. Whoops, here's one. Oh, here's one of my doilies. I kind of tried to cut it apart to see what it would look like, and it was kind of fun, kind of cool. And some of the Tranquil Tide twine. So I just tied a bow around the paper clip, and we're going to add this to the project. So here we go. We've got... So all the cards are going to use the watercolor words, excuse me, stamp set. This is on the retiring list, so it's going to be gone at the end of the month. And so I've chosen to use You're the Best, the Just For You, and the Happy Birthday on the 3 cards that we're going to make. So I've got the Just For You here. And this particular card, we're going to use a rich raspberry ink. Now, this is one of our old style pads. I probably am not going to upgrade to all brand new style pads. I don't really know that it's necessary. These pads still work. It would be nice to have everything the same, but, you know, there's a lot of other stuff in the new catalog I want, besides replacing a pad with something that's the same color. So I'm just going to ink that up, stamp that on my circle. So that is now done. So yay. And then I'm going to set this aside so I don't stick my hand in it. And I'm just going to add this to this scallop circle of rich raspberry. Just squirt some glue on there. Pretty simple. And there we go. That was not super even, so I'm going to try to finagle it a little bit. Okay, that will work. And then I'm going to add this to this pearlized doily also. So to do that, I think I might use some glue dots, just because I don't want to squirt a bunch of liquid glue on that and have it ooze out, you know, through all the little spaces in the doily. So I think it might just be easier if I just take the doily and find some spots here, whoops, to add a glue dot. And we'll just add a few. Is that not even working? Oh, that is not working. All right. We're going to have to do the pick method where you take it with your finger and stick it on there. So we'll just take, I don't know, 3 is probably plenty. I don't think it's going to need a ton of glue dots to stick. Okay. And then I can just layer this over the top. It's fairly centered, I think. Okay. So then this one, we're just going to run a small bead of glue down the edge of that Designer Series paper. Whoops, got stuff flying all over. And then this was just, I mean, it wasn't even a certain size, this scrap, except that it was 5.5 inches long. I just sort of pulled it out of my stash because I just want a tiny bit of black poking out Just like I said, to offer some contrast between the strip of paper and the card base, so that it's just kind of has a little bit of pop there. Here's my bone folder. And I do find that folding your cardstock against the grain is a little harder than folding it with the grain, so keep that in mind. Squirt some glue on this. And then we're just going to add this right to the edge here of the card base. Check it up a little closer. I do need to trim off a tiny bit on the bottom, so that is no problem. Oh, right there too. And that might be my faulty eyeballs rather than faulty cutting. Well, heck, it could be both. All right. Excuse me. Get that off. All right, so there's our card base. So look at that. I mean, just the paper on there is so pretty. I just love it. And then all I'm going to do is slap that right there. And then I do have this tiny little paper clip that I think I can still just get underneath this layer here. All right, you get under there. There we go. So now we have a little ribbon detail, and then I'm just going to throw some glue on the back of this and add it right here. So, I mean, you could make a ton of these cards in just a short amount of time by grabbing some scraps. So I think that fun little detail on there. So there it is, card number 1. So again, sharing the video gets you in the drawing for the cards, and I will be giving those away next week on my Facebook Live. So be sure to come back. All right, so now we're moving on to the next card, and this one's going to have a rich raspberry card base. Here's my strip of the Designer Series paper. We're obviously going to go with this side here because I don't really think, you know, that side's good. And then I've got another strip of the black, another scrap that I pulled out of my stash, so it's obviously a little skinnier, which is totally fine. It's going to work great. And then I've got a couple of ovals die cuts for this one. And then I also did that same thing with the paper clip, but I just used one of the Grapefruit Grove paper clips on this one rather than the silver one. So using that same stamp set, the watercolor words, this one's going to be Happy Birthday. So I kind of just took the greetings that I wanted to use and just I thought to myself, which framelits are going to work for this. So the Happy Birthday is kind of long, so I thought, well, let's go oval. So that's what I did. We're going to use the Rich Raspberry ink again on this one. And we've got the Happy Birthday here that we're going to ink up. And we're just going to come down. I might need a scratch paper because I don't want to mess up my grid paper that I just got out so that it was nice and fresh for you guys. Okay, so we're going to do this. We're going to get it on there as much as we can. I think we can get most of that on there. Press down. And we got most of it on there, so I think that's going to work out pretty good. And then we'll just attach it to this mint little piece here. And I'm going to get my framelits out and I'll show you what sizes I did use in case you guys have these and want to know. Get that glued. Whoops. Stuck to my finger. Okay, so we've got that glued on there. Put my ink away again so I don't touch my hand to it. Okay, so this one I think, is this also number 6? Or is it 7? Hold on. Yes, this one is number 7. So again, same thing. I start with my numbering, whoops, in the center. So the smallest oval is 1 going up through. So that's number 7 on the straight edge ovals. And then I think, I can't remember if it was 7 or 8 on the scallop. Looks like it's 7. So it was 7 on both. 7 straight, 7 scallop. Out of the Layering Ovals framelit. So if you guys don't have these square circles and ovals, they are really, really handy to have. I mean, you can just whip out some super fast, easy cards in no time using them to make stamp your greetings on. So again, this piece of paper was cut the hot dog way, just like I was told by my teacher friend. So we got the hot dog way, and I'm getting this all cattywampus, and that's going to bother me. So this is actually going to open like this. So just a different way of a card to open, I think. We're going to add the little bead of glue right here. We're going to bring in our little strip that I pulled out of my stash of scraps. And I don't save every scrap, but I save black strips specifically for this purpose, to use them as dividers, because I do this a lot. I just feel like the paper pops so much more having that black there, where if I didn't have it, it just seems like it's a little bit plain. So I think just having a divider strip, no matter what it is, ribbon or another piece of designer series paper, a piece of cardstock, whatever you want to use, I just think that just adds a tiny wow factor to your cards, but doesn't cost you really anything, because we all probably are overloaded with scraps, honestly. If we're being honest here, let's just talk about how many scraps we have. It's a lot, at least for me. And I would imagine most crafters, I cut that pretty good. Most crafters are probably the same, where we all have a ton of scraps. Okay, so this one, I picked the Grapefruit Grove just because, there is some Grapefruit Grove in the paper here. So I just kind of thought if I just kind of stuck that right on the side of the oval, I thought that would be kind of cute. So let me find my dimensionals here. And this one we're going to add with dimensionals just because we've got the paper clip on there. So that's just going to make that a little bit more bulky. And so rather than trying to glue it flat, I don't think it'll work. So we'll just pop it up with dimensionals, and then that should work just fine. Okay, so we're going to kind of set that like so. So again, another super simple card. And you know what you could do? What we could do, maybe I will just do this because I have so many scraps. We're going to look in here in our scrap pile again. And look at that. We've got that piece. What else do we have here? I like to put a lot of, if I have lots of skinny scraps, I'll just put them in a cello baggie. That way they're easier to get out of the package. But I think this one here is going to be perfect. So normally you would look at this and go, what would you do with that? Well, let's just do this. We're going to go ahead and put a strip of it right here, so when the recipient opens up the card, they get another little wow factor inside there. And I have this strip, and I honestly can't imagine what in the world I'm going to do with it other than this. And I always feel guilty when I have, when I have tons of designer series paper scraps like this, and I don't know what to do with them. But the paper is so amazing, I just can't throw it out. So we'll just do this. And that way I don't have to throw it out. Whoever gets this card, one of you guys, and you're just going to love it. So there, yay. So you open that up and you find some more of that fabulous paper inside. Okay, so that's card number 2 with this little kind of crazy scrap method I'm going on with here. And then here's our final one. So we're going to use a card base of Tranquil Tide, a basic black layer. This little scrap here was a little longer than this piece, so I just kind of trimmed it down to fit what I wanted. We're going to use one of these laser cut tags that come in that embellishment kit. Right there. And again, I've got a tiny scrap of the mint macaron that we're going to use as a buffer. And then I thought we would use, if I can get it out of here, one of these little metallic roses, little metal roses. Isn't that cute? They come in the embellishment kit also, and they already have the adhesive on the back, so they're super easy to work with. And so this time we are going to use the mint macaron color it's Tranquil Tide, excuse me, the Tranquil Tide for our sentiment. And again, same stamp set, the watercolor words. This one says, "You're the best." Did I get that? Yeah, that'll fit on there. All of a sudden I thought, holy cow, is that going to fit? Ah! That's what happens when you're creating on the fly. You're like, oh, well, we're just going to wing it and see what happens. Okay, so I'm going to line that up on my grid paper so it's kind of straight so that I can kind of see what I'm doing. And you know what? This is going to be a little helpful tip for you guys, I hope. A lot of times when I'm working with something like this, like a tag that's already cut, and I can't always, it's hard to sometimes see, like you can see I was kind of struggling with where was the top of the tag when I was looking through my stamp. Well, if I put this tag on a dark colored piece of paper, when I'm coming down to see, now I can totally see where the top and bottom of the tag is through my stamp. So now I can line it up a lot easier. And we're going to try that. So there we go. Get rid of that because that doesn't match. So there we have our tag. And I kind of thought I would just kind of throw my little rose like right down here, but we'll see how it's going to work when I get it all done. Okay. Put that ink away so I don't ruin it. And again, we're working with hot dog style cardstock today, people. They're all hot dog styles except for that first card with the diagonal stripe that I did. But I just sometimes find that this is just a different way of using. You know, most people just go with that half hot dog, or excuse me, hamburger cut card. And sometimes I just like to change it up a little bit. So, little piece of designer series paper scrap here. And this is 3 3/4 by, I think, 2, if I remember right. We'll measure it just to make sure. Okay, and then that little scrap I pulled out of my mint macaron. That's an actual, it's a new color for us. Well, it's a returning color. It wasn't in color a number of years ago, and now it's back. This is a 2" by 3 3/4" piece of Designer Series paper. And so this actually measures like, I don't know, 3 7/8 or 4 or something. So it's a little bit longer. Yeah, this is about 3 7/8 wide, and then I think it's 5 inches long, or 4 7/8. What is it? It's about 5. So 3 7/8 by 5. So then I can just take this and glue this to my black layer. Oh, the glue has to come out. There we go. And we'll just kind of set this down here. So it's not the exact same size because I do want a little bit of the black peeking out around the sides to kind of pick up the black accents that are in the paper. Okay. Got that. And then our card's going to open, it's going to open to the side because our tag is longer. So the tag, oh, you know what? I think I'll end up sticking that. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Okay. So we're going to glue this to the card base. And it should just fit in there right in the center mostly. Okay, here we go. Oh my gosh, Kathy, are you serious? Hurricane? I mean, you live in Florida, I get that, but dang, I didn't know that this was hurricane season. Well, I guess I really don't even know when is hurricane season. All I know is we are getting a ton of rain and it's flooding here, so, oh joy, there's a little scrap. Okay, so that's going to be, I think dimensionals is what we're going to do with that. Where did they go? Not a fan of tons of rain. In fact, last night I didn't hear it because I sleep like a log and I was probably just exhausted from helping my mom for the past few days, but apparently there was loud thunder here. The DSP, Roseanne, is the Share What You Love in that Share What You Love bundle. So I think you got that. And if you did, you'll have it. All right, and then we're just going to peel the backing off of this little guy here because this is fun. I'm going to use my scissors to kind of hold on to it. Oh yeah, we'll just stick it right, how about right there in that little kind of cut from the tag. Oh yeah, I think that'll work. Okay, so there's our third card just by using scraps. And you could do, you know, any pack of paper you have, you could do this with. It wouldn't make any difference. Just cut yourself some scraps, pick out a stamp set that you want to use for some sentiments, use some ovals and circles, and bam, you got some cards. So those are my cards for today, along with, what did I do with it? Oh my heavens, oh here it is. And then we had this one with the diagonal stripe. So these are the 4 cards. So someone's going to win these next week. So make sure that you share the video. I always appreciate that. Like it, give it a thumbs up. That always helps me too. That lets me know you guys like what I'm doing. Again, if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I'm happy to answer them for you. You can get all your stamping supplies at shoppingwithbarb.com. And when you do, please use my host code. Then you get free stuff from me. And thanks for sticking here with me, guys. It was kind of a fiasco of a day, and I apologize for that. Hopefully I'll be in a better way next week. So everybody take care and have a great week, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.